Hi, Sami. Welcome. Thank you for making the time for this. You have a very interesting background as you are a Moroccan and Sudanese independent filmmaker, screenwriter, and producer. You were born in the UAE, is that correct?
Exactly, yes. I was born in Abu Dhabi.
How did you get into filmmaking?
Well, it's a very big question. I at first I never thought I would be a filmmaker. I I mean, I was born in the Emirates, and then we spent a chunk of our childhood in Mauritania, where we left from Abu Dhabi and the modern life to Mauritania, which was still starting, and we lived in a very deserted place close to the beach. My father
Can I
had
ask where that is? Why have I never heard of this?
Mauritania is under Morocco in
Okay.
Africa,
Okay.
and so it was. I had so much fun because we lived close to the beach, but at the same time we were away from civilization. There's no cinemas, there's no movies,
Oh, geez.
um, there's no satellite dishes.
Well,
Uh,
as a parent, no screen time must have been wonderful. Yes.
exactly. But then we had some VHS tapes with movies that my father, who used to work at the cultural center in Abu Dhabi, brought with us. So we had the same cassettes that we rewatched and rewatched and rewatched. And among them was Airbud, the movie with the dog playing basketball. And I sort of memorized that movie, to heart, because it's the only thing I had. And it was only after many months that we had a friend that lent us some new movies.
Okay.
So it felt very precious. So one of those movies, when I noticed my sister was watching, and she cried watching that movie, and I still remember that emotion. It was like, wow, movies can make people cry, and that's when I discovered,
The magic of movies.
the
Yeah.
magic of movies.
Yeah.
But to go forward into how I became a filmmaker, I was always I consider myself a computer scientist. I
Okay.
studied computer science, and but then
Very different discipline from filmmaking.
exactly. But then at some point, I fall into a depression. I'm like, okay, this is not what I want to do,
Okay.
and I took a gap year, and that's where I introspected with myself. So I self-reflected and realized that cinema has always been in my life subconsciously, and that's how I got into a film school. I started with making YouTube films, and it got some views, and that's how I realized it's
Where
movies.
did you study? You mentioned film school.
Yes, I studied in Rabat in
Okay.
Morocco. There's a film school there, and I was very fortunate because it wasn't a very theoretical school. It was more practical. So we learned by making, by doing. So it was for me a very good experience.
What was your first film project?
I mean, we had many short film projects, but the like the final studies movie that's what I considered my first film project, professional one. It was very special experience, and I knew that your first film, you can't recreate it. It's you always stay as your first film. So I had to make it special, and I made it very personal because in 2020, like a dear member, a dear family, like friend who used to work for us has passed away.
Okay.
So I made a film as an homage for her. She used to work as a cleaner for us,
Yeah.
and it was a fiction movie. I wrote the script, and I hired one that was considered a very big is considered a very big actress in Morocco, and she agreed to work for me for free, for the
Wow.
movie. And I kind of used her to attract more A-list actors in Morocco. Like, okay, I have this actress, and they would love to play with her. And at the same time, uh, it was very special because it felt like the kid making a professional movie and having this crew and professional actors. So I had to up my game.
Well, that's how you learn, right?
Exactly.
Mm.
Yes. And I was fortunate to have exceptional mentors who is like a big film mentor producer who gave us the confidence and the tools to be able to handle such productions.
Now, tell me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Naima's movie.
Exactly.
Is that correct? Okay. So you wrote, directed, and produced this. You screened it over 30 film festivals around the world, and you won multiple awards. Where did the
Yes.
idea for the film originate? How was it funded? Why did you feel the need to tell the story?
Oh yeah, it's a big question. Well, first of all, where did I find the idea? It's throughout my cleaner who passed away, and
Yeah.
I realized that after she passed away, I realized that I don't know so much about her family. I never visited her place. Like she invited me once in during Eid celebration, and I was busy, and I felt like, and then she passed away very suddenly. We never knew what happened,
Okay.
and then we realized that she had struggled with cancer for 3 months, but she never
Oh,
told
geez.
us, and she was used to work every week to come at us and have fun and laugh and hide this sorrow inside. And me being so naive, I would just like not know, even though sometimes I would see her reacting in some way or feeling sad, but I wouldn't understand. And that passing provoked in me the desire to appreciate and think about who she has been in my life. And I went to her house for the first time, and I heard about her brother, like her son, who was in prison and he came out. So I like as if it was discovering a new person. So I think the right way was to make a tribute to her
Okay.
in this movie.
How
Um,
was it funded?
I had to work. I had to
Okay.
work for a year almost or less. I do freelance work. I used to work for many companies to make their videos and all that.
Okay. So you do some commercial work on the side so you can fulfill your passion of being a filmmaker. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
when I was a student. Yes, I had to fund it, and I was very fortunate because I also edited the movie and I had some of my friends in it, and I applied to many festivals. I enjoyed the distribution part uh, because you just send it and you hope.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask. Do awards and festivals make a difference? Is it about the validation, or is it for yourself and for the film, or is it about increasing the reach, or both?
I think for me, the number one thing why the festivals are important is, of course, the reach. Because are you gonna show your movie is through the reach, and the awards are just for the recognition. Just uh, so you can. It's like an appreciation for the time and effort and like all the efforts you've done. Um, but yeah, absolutely. For me, festivals is the people who attend. I don't care about the festival policy or the country. it's just I just care about will it bring more people to see the movie because one of them may find something in that movie. Uh,
But also, if you're getting awards and the reaction is positive, that must be quite encouraging, especially if it's your first proper film. And like, oh, okay, I'm getting the validation I need. I'm a decent, good filmmaker, so I should be doing more of this. Is that how it felt? I would imagine that's how it felt. I'm not a
yes,
filmmaker.
absolutely. I feel like the first time I felt this validation, I absolutely agree. Uh, I got accepted into Red Sea Film Festival,
Ah,
and
that's a good one.
yeah, yeah, and it felt really nice because I was really treated very well there, and there was also a big market. Everyone, the big players, and for the first time, I had to uh, like be the social filmmaker. Where I had to introduce myself, speak, and try to find distribution deals. and I meet the guys from Mad Solutions, and I pitch them my story, and they're interested, you know, and I signed with them at the end, you know, like so it was really fun. I had some other experiences, a lot of festivals in Morocco, so it was really fun. Absolutely, the validation and yeah.
In terms of the film industry in the Middle East, which is where you're operating, versus United States, according to you, what do you think are some of the biggest differences and challenges?
I think they're more organized. I think in terms of, I think we have the same stories. We just, in the US, they know how to sell it better. They have privatized funding of their movies. There's the studios, there's some
in
rules.
This region, though, we have a lot of grants and support in that way. I think it's even more than United States, which is very commercially focused, right?
Yes. I feel like, yeah, like with time, I feel like cinema is maturing, even the Arab world. We're reaching an age where the audience are getting picky. You know, they watch Severance, they watch Netflix, so they expect better from our Arab content.
Yeah. But I think we're going to up our game in this region as well. And we are upping our game in this region. Yeah.
But it's good to hear. I can speak from Morocco. I feel like Morocco, there's a big potential. And I feel like there's many stories that are eager to be told. And this is the time, you know, this is the time where, you know, you got the Red Sea Fund, you got many festivals, you got Qatar now, festival is coming up.
Yeah, Doha. Yeah,
Doha. So it's really exciting.
And finally, what's next for you?
My next project is going to be a very personal project about my father.
Okay, wow.
Who lived 40 years in Emirates in Abu Dhabi.
Okay.
And the story is before and after he came to Abu Dhabi, because he was in Sudan. He was a calligraphy artist. He used to write.
So creativity runs in the family.
Yes. He used to write headlines in Sudan's newspaper in the 70s and 60s.
Oh, so that's so interesting.
And that's not even the interesting part, because he got condemned. He got the death penalty in Sudan because he
well, the movie writes itself. Jeez.
Exactly. I had to just document. Yeah. So he was a newspaper headline writer in Sudan, and it was he won a scholarship to Egypt, where he learned the 7 styles of calligraphy. And when he returned back, there was a dictator, and said people, you know, like him. Some people think he's a dictator. So so the story is, a lot of people were against him, especially that he was brutal in some ways. So some people from the Communist Party, even though he wasn't communist, reached out to him to change a headline on a specific day, to make it against, so the public could see it, because millions of people read the newspaper headline that my father wrote with his hands.
Yeah.
So it was the first attempt to use the public media to influence the public, you know. And he did write the newspaper headline on the day of the coup d'etat against this guy.
Okay. Jeez.
So many people read this headline and went into the streets to protest him. And the guy, Jafar Nimeri, fell from the power. And it took only 3 days for him to return because of his allies. And 3 days later, he was very brutal. Anyone who contributed to this coup d'etat was murdered. But my father escaped in a boat. Like he hid his face and traveled to Port
I'm
Sudan.
worried you're giving away. I think that's enough for a teaser right now for the movie. But that's an incredible story. Sami, thank you so much. This has been absolutely fascinating. Thank you so much. And I can't wait to watch the film. Please send me a link. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.